Hi, welcome to week 5. The first thing that I'm going to have you do is go into the reading assignment. This is our last outside reading assignment or assignment related to the textbook for the semester. You'll notice in chapter 13 that there are summary charts. There's about 15 pages of those. I've also included a Prezi that'll kind of walk you through the important things, but basically this is a good wrap up set of pages on what we've covered in 12 chapters over the course of the semester. The next thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you go into the project number 2 handout. You'll notice that this particular handout explains to you what project number 2 is going to be about. Finally, you get to argue about your topic. So whether it was concussions or screen times or spanking or meat consumption or the whole host of other topics you've chosen for the semester, you're going to create a rough draft. We call this, because you're going to add a primary research component, a literature review. So basically, it's not too unlike a normal research paper. You're using previous investigations of your topic by scholarly sources and popular sources to set up more or less a background. And of course, that background is aligned with your thesis statement, which you worked on in the research question assignment, and it's moving towards arguing for that particular point that you're trying to make. So what I want you to think about is how you're going to set up your body paragraphs to show that, this point that you're trying to make is necessary. You'll also include a counter argument and conclusion. You want to use all 5 sources that you've collected so far. You did 2 for the first annotated bib and 3 for the second. They were a combination of scholarly and popular sources, but if you choose to include more than 5 sources, that's fine too. And they can be any combination after the required ones. Your paper is going to be at least 3 to 5 pages long in MLA format. I want you to obviously include in-text citations and a works cited page, but I also want you to include subtitles throughout to clarify the content of each section. So, more or less, even if the subtitles are aligned with just simply one paragraph or maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs, I want you to kind of organize your bodies of evidence in that way. Now, the way that we do that in MLA is any subtitles are left aligned in all caps and in a different font, like you'd choose something like Georgia instead of Times New Roman. And I'm going to show you an example of that in just a minute. The other thing that I've provided for you is just, what a writing literature review, I always forget that you've got one more click in Canvas, but basically, what a literature review is. But again, this is just your scholarly and popular secondary research aligned with evidence for your topic. So I'm gonna show you right now what that looks like in a sample. Okay, so basically this particular student was writing about the differences between organic, conventional, and genetically modified food. So basically you've got your introduction where the thesis more or less is genetically modified food is often surrounded by negative discussion. Just as organic food is typically hailed as a savior to nutrition, however, because conventional, organic, and genetically modified foods are all required to meet the same nutritional standards, each comes with unique restrictions and benefits to health. And so what this particular student did is subdivided this into conventional farming, genetically modified food, and then organic farming. Just thinking of, maybe a discussion of something like, let's say taking on a vegetarian diet. Your subtoppings could be physical benefits, maybe emotional benefits, environmental benefits. You just want to think about how to group your information. And then, of course, like this particular student, you'll add your works cited page, which it seems like we skipped a page in here. But at any rate, you get the general point. I just want you to organize this because when you do add your primary research, it will also need to be formatted a particular way. Your primary research is in the form of a survey that you're creating this week that we're currently in. And so I want it to be able to be organized and flow in that way. If you have questions, let me know. The final thing that I want you to look at is the study guide. This is a wrap up, the last test for the last part of what we've read for the semester, and then we'll take a final test that'll be cumulative of all we read. But this test will only be one essay question. Consider the types of writing we've done so far this semester and respond to the question by using one of those types. You can use something like summary, traditional argument, Rogerian argument, visual argument. You can choose. And like I said, once you open up the test, your job will be to simply write an essay response. So, of course, all essays include an introduction, body paragraphs, a conclusion. All right. Then, of course, you're going to turn in your rough draft. You're going to participate in the peer review forum, and you're going to take the third test. Beyond that, like I said before, if you've got questions, let me know. And I will be obviously looking for your drafts and responding to them as soon as possible so that you'll have plenty of time to turn them in the next week. Have a great week and keep up the good work.